Hello, welcome back to GSC. We've had our break and now we're back for round 6 at Rio. It was Larson on pole, followed by Ellis and Askoff, and then 4th went to Nick Ovey and 5th was Nigel Lee. 6th went to Jirasek, who was the new guy. 7th was Matt By. 8th went to Andrew Jones. 9th was Gunnar Kramer, and 10th went to Sim Steele. So, race is underway. And Ellis took the lead coming into the first corner, but Larson retook that as they exited and left Ellis down in second. On board with Kramer as we're coming into the first major corner of the lap, and that's Matt By going out wide. Kramer makes contact with Ovey and Jirasek manages to get in the mix there as well. Andrew Jones looking to the inside in this big gaggle of cars that we've got here, trying to make it 4 wide, but that's not going to happen. Kramer making a slight contact with Jirasek as well. Jirasek was up with Matt By, and then Neil Askoff and Dave Ellis were battling it out for third and second. Askoff going down the inside as they came into the final corner. Ellis looked to dive back down the inside but couldn't find anywhere to do so. So end of the first lap then, and Larson led from Askoff and Ellis, and then it was Nigel Lee. Nick Ovey was 5th and 6th was Matt By, but Jirasek was right behind him in 7th and looking to take that place away from him. Tried to go around the outside through the first couple of corners but couldn't quite make it. Still stuck with By, and as he came into the tricky right hand corner he almost dived down the inside as Andrew Jones went off the circuit there. Kramer managing to also stay with Jirasek and Matt By. On board with Jirasek. Just towards the end of the lap now, Matt By struggling to get the car slowed down there. Jirasek's going to have a better exit. No room yet. Kramer having a look down the inside of Jirasek as well, so Jirasek runs into the back of By on the exit of the corner. This gives Kramer an opportunity to dive down the inside as they come into the final hairpin of the lap. And there's contact between the two on the exit. Still Kramer not managing to get past though. Should have the inside line coming into the first corner, so Jirasek surely should yield the position to Kramer, and there goes Kramer up into 7th. Almost contact between the two again. Jirasek trying to get the inside line for the next corner but can't quite do it. Andrew Jones and Sim still overtaking each other in the background there. This is Ellis coming back at Askoff as they come down the start finish straight, and he is ahead before they get to the first corner. Askoff couldn't do much to defend that position from Ellis there. Back with Jirasek and Kramer. Jirasek gets alongside Kramer coming down the start finish straight. Better exit from the hairpin. And he takes the position coming into the first corner, which gets him back up into 7th. Kramer making slight contact and running out pretty wide. And now Jirasek having a look at Matt By for 6th. Matt By runs wide, loses 2 places, and Jirasek is now up to 6th, Kramer 7th, and that's Matt By down to 8th. Kramer considers coming back at Jirasek as they come into the final sector of the lap, but can't quite do anything with it there. Now on board with Nigel Lee, who's in 4th and battling with Neil Askoff for 3rd. Once again we're coming into the final sector of the lap. And down the inside goes Lee, a bit sideways on the apex, but he makes the position, and that's him up into 3rd place. He doesn't stay there for long though, and as we come into the first corner, Askov goes right round the outside of Lee. Can't quite make it on the first part. He gets a much better exit coming into turn 2, and round the outside of Lee he goes with the inside line for turn 3. Lee nearly gets the cutback but can't do it there, and Askov holds on to 3rd. Lee later went on to have a mechanical failure. Andrew Jones, recovering after going off at the final corner, then finds himself up with Steele. Contact between the two as well. Jones didn't stay behind for long though, and he was straight back in front as he came into the first corner. This was the battle for 8th and 9th at this point. Jurasek, who was running a good race and in 6th place at this point, was the first of the points paying positions to stop. He was in a couple of laps before everyone else. This is Kramer now pitting. And then it was Ovi, who made a complete pig's ear of this pit stop. Running wide, coming into the pit lane didn't help his cause, and then it took him a while to get things going again. He eventually got it sorted out though. We've now got Neil Askov pitting from 3rd place. Now free of Lee after his mechanical failures, and then it was Larson next into pit lane. And then in 2nd place was Ellis, who made his pit stop. Bai was then next to pit. He was just outside the points at this point and made contact with the wall on entry. This is Andrew Jones now pitting. Lee ran wide coming into pit entrance as well. And finally it seems Steele was having a bad afternoon and he span it in the final sector of the lap. He eventually got himself going again, and that was the most entertainment we had in between the stops. This was Jurasek making his 2nd stop and Neil Askov also doing the same. Kramer was next and going a bit too deep. 3rd driver to do that on pit entry. Ovi was running up in 4th place, but he calculated his fuel strategy completely wrong and ended up with no fuel as he came through the penultimate corner of the lap. He slowly coasted to a stop not far from the pit entrance, and it looked to be his race done and dusted at this point. No fuel and no power. Steele drives past him. There goes Larson in the lead at this point. So Ovi was now a lap down. And eventually came to a stop. There goes Ellis, but a lap later Ellis came back to rescue Ovi, and he gave Ovi a bit of a push to give Ovi some momentum. Ovi then stayed in neutral as he managed to coast all the way into pit entry and to his box, get some more fuel in, and then he was on his way again, but this had dropped him off the lead lap and he was down in 9th at this point now, and that was pretty much his afternoon done and dusted. And it got a bit worse with a spin. Larson then made his final stop of the day from the lead. And Ellis, who was a good 25 seconds back, was going to do the same on this lap as well. And in he comes. Askoff, Matt By even, was then onto pit lane. Askoff and Kramer also pitted at this point as well. Jurasek had a scare as he went off at the penultimate corner, and that was how things stayed after the stops. Everyone spread out and there wasn't really much action going on. We just had to sit and wait for the end of the race, which was eventually won by Jan Larsen, finally converting pole into a victory. Alice came home second, 25 seconds behind. Fifth went to Kramer to pick up his first points of the season. Askoff came home to take another podium in third. Sixth even went to Matt By. And then finally the new guy was Jurasek, and he came home in fourth. And that summed up a very mediocre sixth round of the season. Join us for round 7 next week at Salvador.